of session 2. Nuances. So I'm addressing each one. So I want a download button for users to download their history. I need the copy feature for the system to track. So I need 2 separate buttons. I didn't realize when I went ahead and created a directive, I actually created a directive that replaced my history button with this copy paste button. So that was unintentional. So no, we need to fix that. So both are important. Collision 1 sounds like it would choose one over the other, history or failure log. Did this previous fix replace the download feature? So I want to be sure. This is not me cleaning this up for the chat. This is not me going through and making sure that my English is good. This is a real inquiry, because in here, in this try and fail environment, I don't care about being grammatically correct. In my other environments, I want it to be grammatically correct because I want the AI to take it as it should be, if that makes sense. I don't want to be like shorthanding and using UR instead of YOUR and that being the reason that it didn't give me proper information. I've been beating this chat to death. I've been using this chat to track all of my failures, and this chat has crashed before. I've given it so many directives, I've changed so many things, and it has this tendency to want to say, I've taken in this new directive. And I'm like, no, I didn't ask you to take in a new directive. I asked you to rewrite what I'm asking you into a directive so I can update my document. I don't want you to take it in, because when you take it in, your responses are going to be with this directive, and this directive could be wrong. So I've beaten this chat to where it can no longer be used, and I've had to go back and create a new one and then beat that chat to death. So this is how I'm really beating it in. Collision 2, got the L. The copy feature needs to be disabled for 17, 19, and 20. So 17 is your rapid fire quiz. 19 is your failure log, and 20 is your PBQs. I don't need a failure log for any of those 3. Session 18, why I didn't take that out, is because session 18 is your 50-question quiz. That actually got changed over because it used to be 100 if you saw the video right before this, or 2 before this. It's no longer a 100-session quiz, and it's no longer a 100-session quiz because I was trying to address memory associated with the failure log that doesn't freaking exist, but I moved it to 50. I cut the memory utilization in half, so it's a 50-session quiz over what's normally a 20-session quiz. So that's fine, whatever. We're addressing memory constraints. This way it'll prevent it from failing to load all the information, especially since I'm asking it for this deep dive dynamic quiz information. These questions are long, so it's 50 of these scenario-based questions. So fine, we'll reduce the memory utilization. So 18, what you failed there, we want this copy failure log button to be available because we want to post that into the Gemini chat, which will be used for 19. If you got 20 out of 50, there's 30 pieces of information that we need to recover with you, that we need to do as a refresher. So in the PBQs for section 20, we don't need that. Section 20 is its own self-isolated containment that doesn't follow the rest of the interactive structure, so we don't need a failure log. 17 is the rapid fire. I might need the failure log for 17, because if you're getting the raids wrong, if you're getting the port numbers wrong, then maybe that should be introduced into your session 19 failure log review. So I'm debating on that one right now. I'm like, nah, fine. I'm gonna save the system memory over those over all those quiz information found in those later sections. The exam results for 18 can play a great part in 19. So, you know, just hey, what you get on your exam we'll use. Now, collision 3, no space. So, you know, this is really me just kind of beating into a chat that I don't care about. If I burn this chat down and it fails, I'll just open a new one, delete this one. Would it be technically similar to removing features related to mediation? If the person fails the exams, keeping the log and just creating a test will eliminate the loop. So the system is essentially saying you took attempt 1, you failed, this failure log is now logged. You took attempt 2, you passed, this failure log is now logged. That's that infinite loop information that's utilizing memory. I'm trying to reduce the impact of memory so that there's no reason that this won't load and the system crashes. So I'm essentially telling it if the person fails the exam, keep that log. So we'll just keep creating a test, and just create a test will eliminate the loop. So keep the log where you failed. Boom, now you have a failure log. You take attempt 2, you passed. We don't care. We're only going to care about failures. We're not going to care about remediation. Session 19 is set to do, if you did 100% on all sessions, there is no failure log. We're going to do a randomization or health check. It's just going to be a refresher for all the sessions. Well, if we're keeping your failure logs, then we can do an example on the failures. And if we ignore you retaking and re-getting it right, we can ignore that remediation. We will then be able to just do a test on your failures. You got it wrong one time. Maybe the question was you read it wrong the first time. Maybe the second question was just easier to understand, but you got it wrong. Let's do a test on this what you got wrong. We'll only track failure. We don't care about remediating what you get right. We're only tracking failure. So that's essentially what I wanted to address there. And essentially, and this is how I get my responses. Sometimes I'm like, you're right. Sometimes I'm like, well, if you do it that way, this. In this case, I get you're absolutely correct on all 3 points. Let's break down your observation as they are highly critical towards the architecture decisions of the system. And they are. Every single prompt is a dedicated decision that affects how the user uses this AI interface. Because of the creation of the download history button, because I want to create a copy-paste version of the failure log, this particular training may not work on a mobile phone. I can tell you 100% it will not work because of the interactive canvas. So automatically that disables it being usable on a mobile phone. It's desktop only. So these particular nuances are going to create a system in which it can only be used under certain parameters. And if you're like me, you're always on your phone. I'm uploading these videos from my phone. So I'm always on my phone. I'm literally sending it from my desktop to my phone, to my email, and then accessing my email to my phone. So I am one to use it on my phone more than I am one to use it here. Certain remediations I might have to do is that download for history might have to be download for the interactive. So instead of loading it into the interactive quiz, it would provide you with a download HTML document to your phone. You can then open it, maybe PDF, and go ahead and answer all the questions, and then re-upload your answers into the chat. The great thing about that is it will then be able to see your failures. So I would then be able to eliminate on the mobile aspect a need for a user interface failure log copy paste button. So it wouldn't be download your history, it'd be download the exam. So those little nuances would change for mobile. So my brain's already ahead and thinking about it. What won't work, what will work, restricting people and telling them to use a browser like Google, use a browser like Mozilla, because Brave didn't work. And while someone smarter than me will probably figure out a way to get this to operate within the Brave browser or Opera browser or whatever browser you're using, I'm going to just go ahead and say use this because this I know works. So troubleshooting is going to be like loaded in Chrome, loaded in Edge. Edge works actually. So it's just little nuances that are kind of coming to my brain and how they're being put together. So this is essentially collision one. Download features like, yes, we picked one versus the other, so I'm going to have to fix it. So I want to retain a physical file for the records, and I also want an algorithm tracking button user interface for the copy paste. Collision 2, disabling the copy feature for 17, 19, and 20. It's something I want to do. It's probably the best move, optimal move, because these sessions don't feed new features into the remediation pipeline. Oh, Xbox turning off in 5 minutes. Tracking these creates redundant data. Exactly. These aren't going to be used for anything else. 17 is your rapid fire, maybe. Maybe we'll track that back into it. It's just a matter of deleting 17. 19 and 20, absolutely no need. There's no need to have that logged in your failures. 17, raid's important. The port numbers are important. So this rapid fire quiz for 17 is definitely something I might want to keep a failure of to address at number 19. So I'll deal with that one as we go along. So going through the third regarding collision. 3, your proposal to strip out the remediation status is a massive structural improvement, because if we're not tracking what you got right to use to delete what you got wrong, we're gonna use less memory. Also going to eliminate the loop. This failure log will simply become a static historical record of weaknesses. If you got it wrong ever, we want to know about it, and we want to use that to train you. Even if it was a misclick, even if you knew the answer, but you just happened to be on Facebook while doing this and you weren't paying attention. If you misclick it, we need to log that so you can get a test on it. Technically, this failure log can go up to 40 questions. So it's going to do it in 10 question increments until all failures are addressed. So it can go up to 40 questions. And I wasn't sure about doing a 20 question structure, because what if you don't have 20? If you do 10, it seems like more likely that that's a realistic figure. And if you have 0, if you're the smartest person in the world, never got anything wrong, or you simply never copied and pasted the updated failure log so the system could track it, then no problem. We'll do a health check. We'll do an overview of the 20 sessions, the 17 sections of session review, and we'll just go through that with you. So there is a redundancy there to kind of keep it, but this will eliminate the infinite loop risk, keeping the clipboard extremely lightweight, as no longer needs to track correct answers to clear. And then it'll give me directive. So it's creating a dual gate directive. So this will bring back my download, and it will also bring back the user interface for the copy feature. You'll have download the full report must be generated as a text file containing the, so this is the historical data file. It is a txt file, which is currently opening up in Notepad on Windows. The copy results to chat button must utilize the navigator write text script. So we're going to be using that JavaScript method to copy only the strict minimums. We don't need a lot of data. We need the title information for the section you got wrong. We need the score and the session. Basic information just to go ahead and log it. So it can't do question 1 wrong 30%, because it won't know what question 1 is. So it's going to use the actual official CompTIA data, the 1701 point whatever data, to see what category that fell into. And that you see here on the failure log. So the actual data title, the official title of that particular wrong, the number of the session, and you got it wrong. So correct, incorrect is just going to be incorrect. Session 19, we're going to assign contents for the failure log so that we can track it, and we're going to make sure that this isn't um, covered in section 20, but session 19 will transition into a 20 question cumulative health check covering the 3 highest weights containing domains. So we want to make sure your failures include getting the right information correct. I will be modifying that to be 10 questions and progressively increasing it as, oh, yeah, there you go. Tier of 10 questions each, pulling directly from the objective IDs. So, okay, this is what my ADHD did. I didn't read that. I jumped here because I saw 20 questions. But if your failure log is completely empty, we'll do quality health check 20 questions for the highest weighted domains. Should probably read what I see on screen, but I'm just, even as I'm writing this, I'm still half reading. I'm still ADHD. I got the Xbox going. I just finished season 9 of Flash, so I'm now completely done while writing this. So that kind of tells you how 100% focused I am, because I have stuff playing in the background. Because I need to keep my brain moving. But overall, yeah, this was a long little update just to kind of say, what the hell were they looking at for historical data that was exceeding the maximum memory tokens allowed? What did it keep? I can't find it. Gemini explains it as hallucinating information, but what the hell? If you can't see in Canvas, you can't see the failure logs, you can't see the historical data, outside of my UI buttons, my user interface buttons, there's no way to transition it back into the chat. What was there previously? Because now we're going to be doing these right now. I'm going to be applying these fixes to my document. So this is going to be my document 33 update to fix those nuances. And it is just interesting. But yeah, you really can't take AI straightforward because it depends on what you told it, how it's going to respond, and you could talk to it in a certain way to get it to respond with the wrong answer. Just a funky little thing. Yeah, that's it. So let's go ahead. We'll keep moving on, and we'll go from there.